Hello, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Hello to the chat. Hello to the members. Big thank you to the moderators working hard today to get us going. So happy to see all of you. Welcome everybody. I'm Natalie and this is Scientology Life After a Cult, where we talk about Scientology news that has the internet buzzing. We talk about my time in Scientology and leaving with 35 years, leaving with 3 generations of my family. So when you hit the notification bell, please. Oh my gosh, I'm so backwards. Let's start over. Oh, this is why I love doing this live. You guys know the drill. When you hit the subscribe, set that notification button as well so you get notifications when I go live. I had to take Odin out this morning and oh my goodness, was he kind of giving me grief. So we fell a little bit behind. But thank you everybody for being here, and everybody who's already here. If you could all go over and show that like button some aloha, I would greatly appreciate it. We got a lot to get through today. We're going to talk about some protest news. Confident Chris got attacked. He got hit. We've got all kinds of stuff to cover. So let's jump in it. First, I saw this and I loved it so much. And many of you sent me this too, and I absolutely love it. Oh my goodness. Windy City Thetan Watch Medic, we need coffee on aisle 1. Yes, that would be me. I did not get a chance to make my second cup of coffee. And that is usually what I have with me. Now I don't have it. I blame Odin. Oh, we're figuring it out though, him and I. All right. So over on Cultology, where I think they just celebrated reaching 1,000 subscribers, which is absolutely fantastic. They did a little dance break. They do these little dance breaks and I love it. I'm like, I want a dance break. I want a dance break. Got to learn how to do that. But take a look at this. It was
We need a dance break.
Monopoly class. Oh, we need a dance break? Dance break required. Ready?
Excuse me, it is 100 degrees outside.
Well, then you better shake your fingers out.
I'm dancing. That's all I got.
The dance break.
We figured everybody needs a dance break right now. There's been too much crap going on. We all just need a dance break.
There you go.
I just love the dancing, especially Farrell Cheryl is just bringing it over there. Oh, this is just the best. This really made me smile and made me laugh. And I thought maybe it would for you guys as well. I thought it was fabulous. Thank you so much, Cultology, for doing that. Also, happy Canada Day to everybody in Canada. I know it's a big day for you guys today. Our 4th of July in the US is coming up. I've been learning a little bit more about Canada Day from my Canadian friends. So happy it's not Canadian Day, it's Canada Day, right? Canada Day. Yes, Farrell Cheryl, I agree completely. Dance breaks are necessary for mental stability. They do. I usually have them solo by myself here in the house sometimes, Odin and I try to dance break with Odin. He does not cooperate, but I love what you guys did. Absolutely love it. Okay, let's take a look now. Let's go over to TikTok because Blakey Thornton, who is over there on TikTok, did this really interesting stitch. I think they're called Stitch on TikTok, and then there's shorts on YouTube, and then there are reels on Instagram, which makes me think, are they reels on Facebook? I don't know. But anyways, put together this stitch about Tom Cruise that really, I love to troll Tom Cruise. So I was like, what? I love seeing this. Take a look.
And most telling phenomenons of modern entertainment culture is Tom Cruise. Because we spend so much of our time pretending as if the entire situation surrounding him isn't batshit crazy. One, in a cult. Scientology is a cult. It's a cult. Black people aren't joiners, so I'm not super worried about them, but several documentaries, Leah Remini barely escaped with her life. Come on. 2, his ex-wives escape him. They have to escape him. When the women describe their divorces, it sounds like season 2 of Prison Break. Just doesn't see his daughter. Just doesn't see her because she won't be in said cult.
That's right. Doesn't see his daughter because she won't be in said cult. And he makes a good point too. You'll notice the vast majority of people who leave Scientology will word it. And I'll do this too because it's accurate. You escape Scientology. You don't just leave Scientology. You leave a grocery store, right? You leave a gym. You might leave Catholicism. You escape from Scientology. Why? Because they go after your friends and family who might be Scientologists, doing their enforced disconnection, all of those things, right? There's fair game. Well, L. Ron Hubbard says anyone who is critical of Scientology, then fair game. Anything goes with them to get them to stop. So yeah, that's what that's about. And I'm glad. I love seeing when other creators across different platforms are raising awareness about Scientology and what we all talk about here as well. So I love that. Thank you for sending me that. Send me clips, timestamps, articles, whatever catches your eye about Scientology. If you see something, say something. You can send it to Natalie at lifeafteraccult.com. And then we're going to talk about it. Yes, we are. Atkinson, Texas. That's right. Hashtag escape goals. That's so true. So true. Okay, let's now go take a quick look at this BuzzFeed article. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it's talking about Scientologists who were in, Scientologists who have left. Did you guys see this? Came out a few days ago over on BuzzFeed. I want to thank Janet from another planet. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Mahalo and hip hip hooray to you. I appreciate that. Okay, now back to this BuzzFeed. 13 celebs who escaped Scientology and 14 who love and defend it. I bet you guys can already guess who's on this list, right? Let's go take a look here. Number one, in it, Marisol Nichols. We know that, right? She speaks out about human trafficking. She's got her own organization, nonprofit. She's on Riverdale. I would like to see her come forward and investigate the human trafficking happening in Scientology, at least take a really hard, honest look at it. Who knows? Maybe she already has, and we have just not heard yet. I don't know. Stranger things have happened, but that's on the wish list. Lisa Marie-Presley left. That we know. We know she left. I wish it was tragic, her passing. Part of that too is I would have loved to see her really being open about her departure from Scientology and speaking openly about it. I think it would have been very freeing for her family. Erica Christensen, she's still in it. She's been on Parenthood, blah, 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 blah. Jeffrey Tambor, he left years ago. I saw him once at the Manor Hotel, which is the celebrity center over in Hollywood, you know, out where they put the manure all around the building to try to scare off the protesters. He's gone. Jason Doring, he's in it. I don't even know who that is. Apparently he's on Veronica Mars, lifelong Scientologist. I have heard his name here and there in Scientology, but outside of that, I don't know who he is. Maybe you guys do. Jerry Seinfeld, very, very short interaction with Scientology and walked away. And then Scientology got made fun of course, on that one Seinfeld episode, you know, where they're in the parking garage. Looks like he says, I did do a course in Scientology in like 75. So 1975 and he left. In it, Michael Pena. I think that's how you say his name. We know he's in it. He was on End of Watch and Ant-Man, still in Scientology, blah, blah, blah. Left. Laura Prepon, she left. And I would pay money to listen to Laura Prepon talk about her experience in Scientology, especially from the point of view of a celebrity. So she's gone, that we know, but we'd like to see her speak out about it. In it, Elizabeth Moss, still in it, not hugely defending it publicly. I don't know. I think she's a second generation Scientologist. I know her parents are Scientologists. When she was a kid, I saw her in the waiting room at the Advanced Organization of Los Angeles, where I was getting my what's called the Clear Certainty Rundown. And I think she may have been doing the same. And she was a child then too. But like I said, I don't know. I know she's still a Scientologist, but some people I just get a certain feel about, like where I think that they're gonna leave. I think she's gonna leave. We should mark these. We should keep track. Somebody please start a spreadsheet of people Natalie thinks is going to leave Scientology. Maybe not this year, but I think she's going to leave. She was on The Handmaid's Tale. I'm so behind on that show. I have not seen like the last season. I need to catch up. Katie Holmes left. My hero, did it in the best of ways. Took her kid, got out of there, got her own security, literally escaped not just Scientology, but Tom Cruise. Juliette Lewis in it. I don't know. I don't know too much about that one. But 2010, she spoke to Vanity Fair. Does that mean she's still in it? I don't know for sure. But she did date Brad Pitt, and that is interesting. Would love to hear from her too. Nicole Kidman, she left. She won't speak about it because she's got her kids who are still Scientologists, right? Kirstie Alley, she passed. hardcore Scientologist. She blocked me on Twitter. I don't even barely tweet, although back then I think I did tweet. You know what? And I think it was something about her and Scientology, which is probably why I got blocked. But she's out. Met her once. I think I shared that story with you guys. We went to Home Goods, ate some chocolates. All right, who's the next one? Oh, that's just more pictures of her. Jason Lee left. Would love to see him talk about it. He was on My Name is Earl, right? And then Giovanni Ribisi in it. I question that. Never really speaks about it. Raised by Scientology parents. So he's been a Scientologist all his life. I feel like this is something he's saying. That's just my 2 cents. Christopher Reeve left. We heard about his story, a bit about his story from Windy City Satan Watch yesterday. Jenna Elfman in it. Look at the Xenu eyes. She's stuck in it. I do not see her leaving. I would be really surprised. I put her dedication level up there with like Tom Cruise, but stranger things have happened. I would love to be proved wrong. Mimi Rogers got Tom Cruise into Scientology, left Scientology. She, an actress, also, I believe a second-generation Scientologist. Rogers' father was a friend of L. Ron Hubbard, so she joined Scientology at an early age. Ethan Suplee in it. Yeah, I don't know enough about him to make a call. Left. Beck. I'd like to see Beck talk more about it. I want to know how much he actually had to do at Scientology. John Travolta in it. He is on my list of people that still might leave. Neil Gaiman left. This I would like to talk about more. Maybe not right now, but I think so. Tell me in the chat, tell me on the replay, if you're catching this on the replay in the comments, did you guys know that Neil Gaiman was a Scientologist? Did you know that he lived in Wisconsin? His wife was the executive director of the Twin Cities organization. I knew her when they were married and when they went through their divorce and afterwards. And then I left Scientology. So I don't think he's been in it for a long time. The whole time that I was in the Twin Cities and there, in Scientology, and you'd see his wife all the time. I never saw him in there once, never coming to an event. I think he did go to the Flag Service Organization when they were getting a divorce and, going through the things that you have to do with the Scientology marriage counseling, which is just a joke, but I do believe that they did that. All right. So that's that. I don't know if we got to all of them. Did we? Well, looks like there's a little bit more, but we're going to skip it. That's enough for now. My attention span does not allow for it. So link down below, maybe, if I remember to put them there, which now I'm thinking I did not. I need to go link all this down below. Somebody please help me remember, and I will go ahead and do that. All the links that we're going to look at. Hey, Eric Rader, good to see you there. This chat's just like rolling by here. All right, now let's go over and take a look at a video from Utology. Utology puts together these montages about things that happen in the protest movement here on YouTube. And they got a new one that dropped. Let's just take a look at a little bit, and then I'm going to add links down below so you can go see the whole thing later.
The recruiters, or as Scientology calls themselves, body rooters, because these recruiters bring fresh meat into the organization. Potential new members are just fresh meat with money for Scientologists. They don't always wear the obvious t-shirts. They also wear normal street.
Yep, you see a shirt? Curious. That's a Scientology shirt. So it's their new kind of sort of uniform. So look for those shirts when you're out and about at festivals and whatnot. I mean, you'll spot them by the things they're handing out and the Scientology books.
Clothes. So they are not always immediately recognizable, but they hand out flyers for a free movie screening for the Dianetics book, or for a free stress test, or a free personality test. They lure pedestrians in to tell them that their lives are terrible, and they are the only ones who can help improve them. They are back on the streets after the Scientology Test Center has been closed for months, and recruitment has stopped. What can you do if you see recruiters? Report them to a nearby live streamer. Go to SPTV.space and find live streamers that are currently online. Find more than 200 channels with protesters and online activists.
This is what's so great now, too, on SPTV.space. There's a resource page that you can go to connect even more so. So be sure to check that out. Awesome video from Utology. I just love the way that they put those things together. Tommy Tone Toontown, Gaiman's sister, is still in. That is true. Okay, so last I was keeping track, she worked for Scientology Missions International. I think she was even the commanding officer at the time. And I don't remember her name, but I can see her in my head. So I don't know. Is she still doing that? If anybody knows, let me know. Let me know in the chat there. Yet James Neil Gaiman is an author. He wrote some awesome books. He was in the Sea Org, by the way. I don't know if you guys know this. Maybe one day we'll do a video, kind of do a little bit of a deep dive. I'm a fan of his work. He's written amazing books. Some of them have been made into movies, right? There's Caroline. Was it Caroline? And oh my gosh, I'm going blank, but there's a bunch of them. You guys pop them up in the chat if you remember which movies they were that came out for from Neil Gaiman. But yeah, you're right. Irrelevant people. I think Neil Gaiman's parents are high up in one of the UK orgs. That's right. Over in the United Kingdom, very involved, long time. Yes, I do believe this is true, that Neil Gaiman's father was part of the Guardian's office. I do believe that that was true. I remember hearing that. Absolutely remember hearing that. All right, now let's move on. Let's go take a look at Jacob Harkey. Jacob Harkey here on YouTube keeps us up to date on what's happening in the courtroom. He is sharing a little tidbit about these Scientology religious arbitration contracts that all Scientologists sign and then bite you on the butt later if you want to sue Scientology.
The reality is that all Scientologists have contracts put in front of them regularly, which they are not given adequate time to read or understand or consult with an attorney prior to signing. And that is why, in this case, Baxter v. Miscavige, the plaintiffs have done what they can to make the argument that these contracts were signed under duress, and therefore the court should not be able to force the case into religious arbitration because the validity of these contracts should be called into question. Now, the judge, as I understand it, Judge Barber, ruled that he was surprised that he was not able to rule on whether or not the contracts had been signed under duress, but he felt that his hands were tied because of a Supreme Court precedent.
So here's the thing. When we talk about ex-Scientologists having to go back and do this religious arbitration, that's totally a joke. We're talking about people like Valerie Haney. Valerie Haney escaped Scientology in the trunk of a car. Her nightmare is far from over. This was an article written last year, which was in Rolling Stone magazine, about her and what happened. Valerie Haney, remember, escaped Scientology, because remember, you don't leave Scientology, you escape from Scientology. She escaped in the trunk of a car of a stranger. For 90 minutes, she rode in the trunk of this car. That's how desperate she was to get away. And now a judge sent her back to go do this BS Scientology arbitration. But it's important that, you know, we get the word out about like these individual cases and what's being done. These are real people. I mean, talk about re-traumatizing a victim to have her go back and go before people who were involved in her situation to begin with. It's just ridiculous. I'm going to link that article down below too, in case you're not familiar with Valerie Haney, that you can kind of find out and get up to speed. Get up to speed on that. It is neuropsych. Her story is crazy. And it's one of so many. It's one of so many. That's the thing. And these arbitration agreements are what are coming into play a lot. Maybe one day we'll go through and we'll read, well, maybe not read the whole thing. I don't have the attention span for that, but bits of it. I've not seen it in like forever. And thank you for your shout outs too. You're right. It was Coraline was the book and the movie that was made with Neil Gaiman. Good Omens. I think that's on Prime. Interesting too. Some of you saying there's some stuff where he's not the greatest guy. I don't know. I don't know the man. Never met the man. But interesting nonetheless. Let's go take a look now over at Cults and Atheists. Jenny and Dylan Blowdrill. We're talking about coping and healing after the Sea Org. I love this when, whether you're an ex-Scientologist or you're an ex-Sea Org member, but sharing these stories and raising awareness about not just what it was like in there to endure this, but how it affects you today after you've come out. And they did a fantastic collaboration on this. So go watch the whole thing. Let's take a look at a clip.
Yeah.
And I'm a Libra per astrology, that always thinks balance. And it's weird because all of my life I've always tried to look at both sides, and I got in trouble a lot in the Sea Org for that, for giving validity to somebody who has an opinion and not just citing source. And so I think finding that balance and finding that, like, being able to see both sides is important in life. And I don't know if that's just from me being a Libra or whatever.
No,
I don't even know if that's important, but
I mean, maybe it has something to do with that too. But in general, that is also true. I mean, like, look, when I turned 40, I remember having this moment where I thought, what do I really want to do when I grow up? I'm 40.
Right? I keep saying that. I'm still asking that question. So if you figure it out, let me know.
It's very interesting. And I think maybe a lot of you can relate. You tell me in the chat, tell me in the comments if you're catching this on the replay, that often when you go through a traumatic experience, especially one that's long-term, which I now understand is complex trauma. I didn't know what that was before, that you can get frozen sometimes at that age. And through therapy, through working and dealing with those emotions that maybe that's the tie between that and emotional intelligence and improving upon that as well. I'm not sure, but it's fascinating to hear their stories because I know I relate because I grew up in Scientology and I was in the Sea organization. And I love how so many of you never in Scientology relate because of what you went through with your own trauma in your life and experience some of those even same side effects, I guess, for lack of a better word to call them, the result of that trauma of what happened. I think many of you can relate to that. And I think that in the same way that I think many of the ex-Scientologists or people who dealt with Scientology who come forward and expose this and share it are brave. I think many of you here never in Scientology that continue to show up and support these voices, but also even share your own stories and create your own community here are brave as well, because it is not the easiest thing to do. I know you guys know that. Lisa E says, Mark Bunker recently reposted a past video with celeb Jason Begay. He even went to Germany to speak out. That is correct. I remember seeing that Jason Begay article years ago when I first left Scientology, I think it was. I think it was after I left. It was about that time. Yeah, it's a great interview. And I love that Mark Bunker is putting all of these things back up on his channel and improving on the video quality too, which is great. Jovi girl, happy birthday to you. Thank you so much for being here on your birthday. I hope you have a happy, fabulous, cult-free one. All right, now let's go over and take a look at Jenna Miscavige and Sterling Tompkins. Did you know that they are half brother and sister? They got together to hang out for a bit, but also to answer some questions. Jenna on her channel, Jenna Miscavige here on YouTube, is answering a question a day. So when you get into her comments, you can go ahead and send any questions that you have for her, and she'll work on getting those answered. This was super cute and fun. Let's go take a look. I love that Jenna's doing this, and it's great to see them together.
From Kathy KR. I don't know if that's intentional, but if that was, that's kind of funny. Do you think you would be the person you are now if you hadn't been through the Scientology trials? It's obvious you have wonderful talents with style, cooking, flowers, etc. Well, thank you so much. I actually don't do that much cooking, and I'm not a fan of flowers, but that's very nice of you to say. Oh, wait, this is for you. Okay. Actually, yes, that question is for Jenna. Part of it I will answer, but as usual, Jenna will go first on this one. As usual, you go first, but you will go first because that's the polite thing to do. All right, Jenna's going to answer that question first. So the question is, again, since I've just completely blown this whole thing, which is fun, do you think you would be the person you are now if you hadn't been through Scientology trials?
If you want to hear the answer to that question, you got to go over to Jenna Miscavige after this and check out the video. I love that she's doing this and in so many different places. And I love seeing the behind the scenes. When I'm watching, I'm a fan too on YouTube, watching so many of these different channels. I love seeing the behind the scenes, kind of that different look. You guys tell me in the comments, tell me in the live chat here. Do you guys like that behind the scenes stuff? I know I'm going to try doing more of that because I love watching it so much. But you guys tell me what you think, and I'm going to keep an eye on that there. But yeah, love seeing them do that. Let's go over now to Jessica Palmadessa. Jessica Palmadessa's stream. She was not far from, I think it was like the L1 Harvard Life Exhibition, that whole area, and came upon a scene that was quite surprising and different. A man stuck in a tree.
Solomon made himself comfortable on the ground. He knows it's going to be a while. No, it's not close to Blue Building. It's close to the exhibition center, which is actually where I was going to be going by. And then I bumped into this. How did this happen? Supposedly he ran up the tree to get away from a dog.
Now, I'm assuming, because I think she leaves before he comes down, but I know that it was on Solomon's stream as well. I'm going to assume that the man came out of the tree. If anybody knows something differently, let me know. Let me know. That he was high up. And in the video, you can see even different angles. And that's impressive. I mean, right up there. Those branches didn't look super, super sturdy. White trash with cash. I love behind the scenes stuff. Okay, awesome. Maybe when we go walk Odin, I need to find and charge my gimbal, but I will just hold it. Let's do that. Let's do that today. It's in my office, which is just trashed, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it because I moved rooms. All right, let's now go take a look over at Confident Chris. Confident Chris went over to a market, saw some people recruiting for Scientology. Because remember, guys, they're not as able to do it in front of their buildings, be it Austin, be it San Francisco, be it Los Angeles, the Los Angeles organization, the Hollywood Testing Center, due to what? Due to the protests, due to having live streamers out there. So what they're doing is they're going to markets and other areas, any place that they can go to set up their table and set up their books to recruit for Scientology. So let's take a look at this because stuff went down while he was there. What I love too is he actually leaves them a flyer letting them know what's up, with information for the SPTV Foundation, and they're just like acting like nothing, just like he's just not even there. Just this guy over in the shirt there, I think he went off to go call probably somebody from the Office of Special Affairs. Hey there, Eric Rader, good to see you. So yeah, he's handing that out. Well, what ends up happening, for those who did not see the video, the guy who claims that he owns this place and he runs this place comes over and just starts like getting really rough with Chris. So hold on. We're going to take a look at that interaction here. Take a look at this.
Yeah, I know. I'm not really messing with them. They're going to leave actually.
Yeah, but I can't have you be doing what you're doing here.
I'm just filming here. It's a public event. I know you don't need an invitation, so I could film here. I'm just filming here. They're actually leaving now. I don't know if you know, but they're a human trafficking cult.
Doesn't matter who they are. I'm the one that runs this business.
All right,
I'm
cool.
the one that runs the organization.
Well, I'm just filming.
So they're
Cool.
paying me to be here. So
Cool. I'm just filming. Stop me from what? From filming?
Stop being a piece of shit.
You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm just recording. I'm just recording. These people actually, their family might be looking for them. That's why I'm filming.
That is an excellent point, and we know that to be true. Whether it's family, friends, of people that are in Scientology or in the Sea Organization, a big reason why the Sea Org Scientology does not want them on video is because they can be identified, and their family members might want to reach them. This guy was massively aggressive, and as I understand it, he ended up punching Chris, right? Tell me if I'm getting it wrong there in the live chat there. And Chris went and spoke to some police officers. Of course, you guys are all going to be shocked, but nothing happened. So I'm sure we're going to hear more about that from Chris. I thought he handled it very well. He kept himself together. He was communicating and saying what was happening. He wasn't being overly aggressive with the Scientologists who were there. But, we see this over and over and over again. And Libby says, Chris is a boss. Phoenix McMillan, not our Chris, right? They cannot hurt him. Yep, he punched Chris. So not okay. Just who does that? Whoa, Jen, that's right. He punched Chris several times. So I'm not totally tracking how I know that when the police came, Scientology Audit Streets LA showed up to show him support as well. I just like it. Yep, he was punched several times. Filed a battery charge. Okay, so Liz is saying filed a battery charge, but didn't do a PPA because the cops said they would have arrested him too. Which we've heard this before, right? Where there was Patrick Perry who attacked Aaron Smith Levin when he was in LA, and it was on video on multiple angles, and they both end up being arrested. And Aaron was told that if you do a PPA, you're going to jail as well. Just ridiculous. Okay, so now I hope that Chris is doing okay. I saw a little bit of his video again later and he seemed okay, but that's a traumatizing experience and it's not okay. And Chris, I'm sorry that happened. And thank you for how you handled and you conducted yourself. I thought you handled it really well, really well. All right, now let's see. Let's go take a look over at Dan Walks LA, who also came across some Scientology recruiters out on the street. I'm telling you, you're going to see them out there like roaches because Scientology will double down on their recruitment efforts. This is not an organization that will just shutter their doors and leave quietly. It's not. They are going to keep trying and finding new and different ways to reach and recruit people because they are desperate. And these demands roll downhill that they have for getting new members. Although I think primarily, if I'm being honest, David Miscavige is more interested in maintaining the whales in Scientology, right? He only needs to keep Scientology around long enough for him to finish out his lifetime. And he can do that with a huge donors. People like the Minkoffs, Rebecca Minkoff, filming for Real Housewives of New York, Father David Minkoff involved in another wrongful death lawsuit of a Scientologist. Yeah, hitting it out of the park there, Scientology. Susie SP Squirrel says, I wish Evan Suppley would leave. Agreed. I agree with you. All right, now let's go take a look at this clip from Dan Walks LA. Take a look.
How's your cult going? How are your stats? Excuse me? How's everything going? Your lovely human trafficking cult? It's Scientology, miss. You should just get up and leave. Yeah, isn't it? You're real rude recruiting people out here. You should just pack it up. You really should just pack it up.
See all the different books. It's always interesting to see what they're pulling out. We've got Scientology, a new slant on life. The Way to Happiness looks like a bigger edition. Clear Body, Clear Mind, down in the lower left. That is the book about the Scientology Purification Rundown, where you take dangerous levels of niacin and go in a sauna for 5 hours a day, and they have children doing it. That book's there. Problems of Work. What is that one over there? See if we can see that one. I can't see it. Anyways, good to have Dan there. Finding those Scientology's recruiters and letting them know what's up. I agree. Stroke of Genius, a memoir. He's so calm. Love it. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Now, let's go take a look. Where are we here? We're going to take a look at Sassafras shared a video here on YouTube. And I shared part of it yesterday, but I looked at more of it. And I was shocked by this, actually. What I'm about to show you, I'm not sure I've seen this happen before. So we know about Xenu, right? Intergalactic overlord per L. Ron Hubbard, overpopulation, put people in ice cubes, threw them in volcanoes, threw in hydrogen bombs, blew them up. The souls of these people attached to humans. And those are called body thetans. And they're supposedly, what makes us all messed up. So Scientologists don't normally talk about this, right? Or try to convince anybody that it's possible because they're not allowed to. I did through operating Thetan level 4 on the bridge to total freedom. And so I did the whole body Thetan thing and all that. So even when you know about it, you're not supposed to talk about it because, like many things in Scientology, as we know, say it with me, the first rule in Scientology is what? That's right. We don't talk about Scientology. Don't talk about Scientology. Tell people to read a book, buy a book, read a book, buy a book. Anywho, Sassafras is talking to this guy, and he is a Scientologist, and I'm assuming he's someone who did those operating Thetan levels because he seems to know when she brings up Xenu. Now, normally, this is the point of the conversation when the Scientologist leaves because they know they're going to get in big trouble for talking about Xenu and body Thetans or even acknowledging that it's real. My mother and I had both done the upper levels. We never had a conversation prior to leaving Scientology about this. Even when someone else has done it, you could be by yourselves in a room. You are still not allowed to talk about it. It is a big, big no-no. Let's take a look at what this guy is saying and let's talk about this. I'm going to tell you what my thoughts are on this.
An alien that dropped people in a.
Do you think we're the only people in the whole universe?
I don't, but I sure the frick don't believe that story is true. And I know that there are people who have been deep.
Okay, it's fine.
Listen, stop interrupting me. No. Look at that. Who does that? Come on. I'm having a nice conversation.
Okay. Do you think we are the only ones in the whole universe?
I don't think that we're the only ones in the whole universe.
So she brings up Xenu and body Thetans, right? And says she doesn't believe the story. And he's kind of like, yeah, I know about that. And then starts talking about, well, I mean, do you believe that we're the only ones in the universe? Like he wants her to acknowledge that there are aliens or other life forms, which is neither here nor there right now. But a Scientologist saying that, it's like he's almost trying to show her how it's possible that the Xenu story is true. I've just not seen this. They usually leave at that point. This guy's going to get in so much trouble. Seriously. I mean, tell me if you guys have seen this somewhere else. I have not. That is usually when they split, make like a banana, split. They're gone. They're out of there so fast. But not this guy. No. He's like, let me tell you something. Do you really think we're the only people in the universe? Which would be fine to have the alien conversation. A Scientologist can do that, but not in reference to Xenu and body Thetans. This I have not seen. I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe that he said that. Hold on.
I appreciate it.
So I've seen people from other worlds, right? Like spaceships and things like that, right? I know there's more people on the whole universe than just Earth, right? Now, who cares about the story of this or that or that? Or
what do you mean?
Right?
Who cares? That's what they base this so-called religion on. That you're going to get to these higher levels. An alien that dropped people in a.
All right, it's looping around now on my clip there, but you get the point. This just blew my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, a Scientologist is actually trying to convince somebody that the Xenu story could be real by bringing up, do you really think we're the only ones alive in the universe? Well, no, but that's besides the point. That's besides the point. This is like, I don't know if this freaks you guys out as much as it does me. As an ex-Scientologist, I just know like, somebody's going to get in trouble, going to have to get an interrogation, some security checks. You're going to be scrubbing a bathroom floor or doing something like that, handing out Scientology propaganda to make amends for the fact that you not just publicly, like on the internet, you knew you were being live streamed. At a minimum, you knew you were being filmed, said that, and tried to show her how, no, body Thetans and Xenu could totally be a thing. It could totally be a thing. Blew my mind. Okay, the other thing blowing my mind, let's get to Relatable Reese and what she is doing and going through. We're going to look at a clip first of what she was saying about it. Then I've got another clip about the actual order of the jesters themselves and a case from several years ago. So let's get into this one here, because this has been something that has just really gotten my interest because, again, cults fascinate me of all kinds. They're so insidious. And I feel like the more common denominators that we can find, then the more we can help to educate people and raise awareness ourselves of whether or not something is a cult and how people manipulate to bring you into it. And I agree with what Reese says here, which is this is something that just needs to be blown up and just made known.
Guys, it's not what I would like to see happen here is this to be exposed bigger than me, right? Like I want this to get bigger. I want it to get stronger. I've got the proof. So let's make this happen. Let's make it big. Let's spread it far and wide. It's been around for over 100 years. Let's put a stop to it. It's ugly. It's dark. We don't need any more of that on planet Earth. Let's try to shine some light on this. That's how I look at it. I happen to be married to that, and I happen to get everything I needed to get from it, and there has to be a reason for that. Just like there was a reason I was doxxed by Aaron. Let's let it out. Let's shine some light on it.
Love that. That takes a lot of guts to do that. It's one thing to know something. It's one thing to find something out, right? It's a whole nother thing to blow the whistle on it and to try to shed light on that. That's something that even in our ex-Scientology community is what it's all about. The more that you speak out against Scientology, the more that they don't like it, but really there's nothing they can do about it. It's just blowing my mind. And so let's take a look. Take a look at this clip from, this was over a decade ago, but this is going to kind of give you a little bit of idea of what she's talking about and is up against. Because here's the other thing. It is weird how it does seem to be a lack of information. There's some information online about the Royal Order of Jesters, which is what she's talking about, but not as much as you would think. You really kind of got to go digging, but let's take a look at this clip from several years ago to kind of give you an idea of what it seems they are about.
Former state court law clerk will avoid prison time for transporting an illegal alien across state lines to work as a prostitute. News 4's Jerika Duncan has more on the sentencing today of Michael Stebic.
Prominent law clerk Michael Stebic left federal court in a hurry. Are you sorry for what you did?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Stebic is sorry.
More like he's probably sorry that he got caught, let's be honest.
For getting caught up in a scandal, one that involved a prostitute and members of his fraternal organization, the Royal Orders of Jesters.
Mike Stebic has had a great career as a prosecutor.
In 2005, Stebic and his former boss, retired state Supreme Court Judge Ronald Tills, went to Kentucky for a Royal Order of Jesters meeting. According to prosecutors, a woman accompanied them with the intent of engaging in sexual acts with members in exchange for money.
Who they took across state lines.
That's illegal.
Mike was a small player in this event. He had a motorhome. He drove the motorhome down to Kentucky. He had absolutely no contact with that young lady.
Inside the courtroom.
He didn't. She just was in the motorhome. I mean, but you guys, you get the idea here. So as I'm starting to understand it, there's this Royal Order of Jesters is very like, it's a small group and they're kind of like, somebody explained it to me, like similar in Scientology, that you have, you recognize the things that make Scientology a cult. And not all Scientologists in Scientology are horrible people because they're in Scientology. A lot of them are there because they really think and believe the propaganda that Scientology is going to save the planet and that's what needs to be done. You don't subject yourself to that kind of abuse and lack in many ways unless you're trying to, you think you're doing something bigger. You become convinced that you're sacrificing in that way. Anyways, the Masons, and again, this is like many of you have reached out and I'm kind of like figuring this out. But as I'm starting to understand it, it seems like the Masons aren't all down with the Royal Order of Jesters. They're kind of like, these guys are giving us a bad name because of their secret sex parties. Exactly. So let's go take a look at another clip from a video. I think this is Reese with Tommy.
Is it possible that Jeff married you because you took Fred away from them? No way. No way. If you ever heard Jeff on my lives,
he would say, Fred gifted her to me.
Which is the most repulsive effing. I'm sorry, man. That's
He told
just
people that all the time.
repulsive.
Fred gifted her to me. And he told me privately that those guys were so jealous of Fred and they were all waiting for Fred to die so they could get next in line. And that's what happened. I mean, I'm telling you, Fred's funeral, Jeff asked me out.
You pop Vicky, California. I'm sorry.
How do the wives protect themselves from sexually transmitted diseases from those that their husbands are jesters?
They're not doing unprotected anything. I promise you. That's not.
Well, Jeff told me the answer to that, and it wasn't condoms. Jeff told me that there are many, many physician jesters, doctors that are jesters. And he said there's a process, and the girls have to bring their papers to every party and show that they were tested and checked out. Is it possible that Jeff married you?
That is just next level. So we'll see what happens, right? Keep an eye on her videos. I'm sure there'll be updates, but it's interesting to kind of like see this unfold, and in a way that even her previous husband, Fred, was involved, but she says he never treated her that way once they got married. He sounds like he pretty much cut ties with these parties and wasn't doing that anymore. And what she said, that part about they were kind of lining up and waiting for him to die so one of them could take her. Oh, that is so gross and disgusting on so many levels. It's just so weird. It's just so weird. But again, I'm glad it just, on one hand, completely mortifies me. On the other hand, I'm glad that she's finding her way and she's, coming into her own power and independence with all of this. And I'm going to have her on. We're shooting for Friday to have her on the channel. There's so many things I want to talk to her about. Just the whole, even being someone who's been watching her videos along with you, just all kinds of questions, she's someone who has recently, like a year or so ago is when she officially left Scientology. And I just have so many more questions about that and what helped her overcome in different ways. So I think it's going to be great and we're going to have a lot of fun together. And like I said, we're shooting for Friday. I'll get a notification about that later on in the week, but I think it's going to be great. I've been dying to talk to her and connect and collaborate on someone. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure when you subscribe here, hit that notification bell so you can get a notification when we do that. And also please show aloha to that like button as well while you guys are here. All right. Those are the things that I have for you today. If you see something, say something. Natalie@lifeafteraCult.com. Send me an email. It really helps. Help me understand what you guys are talking about and chatting about. And I consume a lot of content, but cannot possibly watch everything. Let me just grab a last couple of these comments though. I don't remember until mid-90s, those contracts coming out. This is the contracts where you agree you're going to do arbitration. I asked if I could take it to my attorney and they made up something like, it's nothing. It's just for blah, blah. They wouldn't let me take it. That's correct. I do recall having to read it. I don't know if that was because I was a staff member or if I had to do it as a public, like going into the courtroom and reading it and making sure you understand it. I'm not 100%. Asen, it is ironic that Jeff is a computer programmer and his computer was totally unprotected. So Reese could go grab all the proof from his PC. Yeah, I have no idea what he does. But yeah, that's hilarious. That really is. Yeah. You know what? He underestimated her. That's what he did. That's what was his mistake, is underestimating her. He's finding out, isn't he? All right. Okay. I'm going on now. All right, everybody. I will possibly jump on a live when I walk Odin so you guys can meet Odin and all that. In the meantime, I hope you guys all get out there and have an amazing cult-free day.